2, 1.
Welcome on back to On Beat Off Script, the music review podcast where we have opinions and most people don't like it, but that's okay because we're here having a good time. I hope you like our opinions or, you know, are inspired by the things we might say today. Today we are reviewing American Heart by Benson Boone, and I've got here with me two amazing people, Mel and Rose, who are ready to talk about Benson Boone and all the things that come with his ridiculous album cover. Can we talk about this album cover?
I already sent my initial reaction in our fucking group.
It might be the cringiest thing I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, so you guys can see it in the bottom right corner right now because Mel was amazing at editing that kind of stuff in. Just look at it. When you look at it, just look at it. Look at it right now.
I get what he's trying to do. And it's going to make a lot more sense when I read the bio I've written up for it. Because you're really going to see it.
Is he just obsessed with Bruce Springsteen? Like, I just don't understand what's going on here.
It's weird.
He's a good-looking guy, I guess. And he's ripped. He's got some. I mean, he's got the assets. He's going to show it.
The coloration of it,
people love it.
Made me double take because I couldn't take if it was supposed, or I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be he's sunburnt or he's just tan and dirty. Or if it was like some weird AI thing, or like just a really weird filter choice. Like, I don't. It caught me off guard. I don't hate it. Like, do what you're gonna do, I guess. Like, probably not what I would have picked for a cover, but like, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he has a skin disease.
Yeah.
But
like, I see what you're saying. It's the lighting, the filter, the coloration. Like, I don't know. It's just it was just unsettling enough that I genuinely I sent to our group chat yesterday when I first pulled it up. Oh my god, what is that? Like, because I was like, what am I looking at? Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this, and I don't know. Like, I can respect the process and I can respect the intention behind it, but it just really caught me off guard, dude.
Yeah.
Well, skin disease aside, Rose,
damn.
Who is Benson? Who's Benson Boone?
Well, I'm gonna kick this off with one of my least favorite things to say. Born in 2002. Yeah.
I graduated in 2002 for that reference, but go on, sorry.
Okay, well, now I feel like a child, too. Okay, well, born in 2002, Benson Boone grew up in the state of Washington as a part of the Church of Latter-day Saints, better known as the Mormons for short, family. Whilst in high school, between being a part of competitive diving and tennis teams, he was once asked by a friend to play piano and sing as a part of their school's Battle of the Bands during his junior year. This was his first experience as a vocalist. After graduation, Boone attended Brigham Young University, which is the Mormon college in Idaho, for a semester during the COVID-19 pandemic before he chose to drop out to pursue his musical career after he began to take singing seriously, drawing some early music inspiration from attending a John Bellion concert. With the encouragement of a friend and after leaving the Latter-day Saints church, Boone began to post singing videos to TikTok and later auditioned for season 19 of American Idol in early 2021. He was invited actually in advance to the show's Hollywood Week, and he received high praise from judges Lionel Richie, who praised him as a natural talent, and Katy Perry for being, quote, a serious contender and seeing him win the whole thing already. Quote unquote. Though he later
I
did
had no idea.
Right, I didn't.
he
First
was
of all,
on American
I didn't
Idol.
even know American Idol was still going. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Pop off.
It is. Isn't that crazy? To this day, yeah, it's nuts.
But I had no idea he was on it. He did actually end up making it into the top 24, winning his place after his Hollywood Week performances. Though he did later withdraw from the competition to focus on his career instead. And this decision meant that it was never televised for any of his Hollywood Week performances because they didn't want to give him that airtime. After he departed American Idol, Boone began to share more snippets of his original music on TikTok, amassing 1.7 million followers before ever releasing a single. He caught the attention at this point of the Imagine Dragons frontman Dan Reynolds, who then chose to
that
sign.
checks out.
Yeah, who chose to sign Boone to his record label. I can do words. Night Street Records in partnership with Warner Records, and they announced the deal on October 15th of 2021, alongside the release of Boone's first ever single, Ghost Town, for which Boone played the drums, guitar, and piano on the recording, in addition to designing the artwork for the single. Boone performed this single on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, The Kelly Clarkson Show, and on Late Night with Seth Meyers before it charted in 14 different countries, including the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States. Since then, Boone has released a number of singles, though only 2 charted in a number of countries until his massively viral hit, Beautiful Things, off of his debut album, Fireworks and Rollerblades. He's performed as an opening act for Taylor Swift on the European leg of her Eras Tour, played 2 shows at the 2025 Coachella, notably covering Bohemian Rhapsody, featuring the Queen guitarist Brian May in that performance, and he has been nominated for 35 different awards, 12 of which he ended up winning.
Whoa.
Wow.
All of this brings us up to date for Boone's sophomore album entitled American Heart, which debuted literally yesterday, June 20th. We're recording this on the 21st. Boone himself admits that he is ready to move beyond his biggest hit, Beautiful Things, in order to prove that there is more to him, as he revealed in an interview with Rolling Stone that he had, quote, never believed so much in a body of work before. American Heart itself was written over the course of 17 days with longtime collaborator Jack LaFrance and was inspired by Americana music and, wait for it, the work of Bruce Springsteen. With Boone noting himself that he intended for the album to have, quote, a little more of a retro vibe, seemingly following this recent trend over the past several years of pop artists to create music with a more retro vibe, quote unquote.
Oh God!
There's no one doing that these days. At all.
Yeah, so the entire album is 10 tracks long. It comes to 30 minutes and 27 seconds. I know this is one that we coming into it had some pretty strong feelings on. So before we dive in, what were y'all's thoughts coming into this and approaching this?
I'll start. I came in, listen, I like Beautiful Things by Benson Boone, and I didn't, it's only until our lovely co-host Brandita started, shitting on Benson Boone every chance he got, until I started thinking, oh, maybe I don't like Benson Boone. Maybe I should be a naysayer as well because he's so popular and all that. I came into this not knowing what to expect. I definitely think he's an amazing vocalist, and I don't know much else. I came out of this whelmed, I guess.
Whelmed,
I was whelmed, and I'll leave it there for now. Mel, what do you think?
Your pre-thought?
I expected absolutely nothing. I expected my eardrums to be permanently damaged by the end of it. I also liked Beautiful Things, but
it's a great song.
Man, he's always felt like a one-trick pony to me, and nothing he does feels authentic.
And I don't think that's his fault, by the way. I don't think that's his fault.
I also don't think that's it. That could
this could be a whole conversation, but I want to touch on that in a minute. Keep going.
Yeah.
I just I don't. I still don't feel like he's authentic in the slightest, and I feel there's so much potential there.
Oh yeah.
And my heart breaks for him a little bit because somebody's probably doing him dirty. I don't know.
So for me coming into this, you cannot take away from me the joy I get from Beautiful Things. There is something for me about screaming along to that, and I've been there. I get it. It makes I literally wrote the bio for this right before listening to the album, so I'm sure I'm gonna have a different take on some of this than y'all. But hearing and I'm gonna be nice. In the words of CMAP. Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch.
We'll say it this way. Every once in a while you stumble down an internet rabbit hole that you don't intend to end up on, and then you just kind of live there for a little bit out of curiosity. I stumbled onto like hoof trimming side of YouTube, and I don't know what it is about it. I'm convinced that I could be a hoof trimmer. I have not once in my life ever like trimmed a cow hoof before, but like I'm sold, I'm in. Well, the other rabbit hole that somehow popped up at the same time as that, right? This is an entire tangent. Walk with me. I ended up watching a ton of like ex-Mormon folks talking about the Latter-day Saints Church. Very hot take, call me what you will. I feel like it's a little culty, and a lot of folks, whether you agree with me or not, you're entitled to that opinion. A lot of folks who have come out and are no longer a part of that religion openly talk about how hard it is to establish your own identity after leaving the church because it's so stripped away from you. And I feel like we're kind of watching Benson Boone kind of go on that journey in a way. And
my main note
shifted
for this,
my entire perspective for the rest of this album and on
that just
beautiful
broke my
things
brain.
itself, because he wrote, I'm assuming he's writing this as he's leaving his religion, losing that like sense of identity, begging for that not to be taken, like all these things that he was told he would only get and keep through staying a member of the church and through following this religion. Regardless of your thoughts on any sort of organized religion or anything, changing your belief system, like feeling like that could be ripped away from you. So to me, it really shifted my view a lot on stuff. And maybe, Benson, if you're out there listening and I'm wrong, get my ass, right? But like for me, like seeing all of that and thinking about the other perspectives that I had stumbled onto months before writing this biography, like... really just seems to kind of put a lot of this into context. So I came into today knowing that like this is going to be one of my higher rated things overall. I think that my opinion shifted a lot after learning what I have about him. And I came into today ready to be like, okay, I'm going to get torn apart on two specific things. It's going to be Hayim and it's going to be Benson Boone. And I'm ready, baby. Because, like, y'all sent a message yesterday because I said, y'all, I'm going to get, like, my ass beat tomorrow. And immediately one of y'all, I think it was Mel, kicked back, like, oh, is Rose coming to defend Mr. Boone? And I'm like, I'm not telling you, but yeah, I am, actually. So, Brandino can square up because I'm ready to stand on business. Like...
that makes so much more sense. It also checks out that he was signed to Dan Reynolds' label, because I think Dan Reynolds is an ex-Mormon, too. And my main note was that I just feel like this entire album is an identity crisis. And that just, it makes sense now. Like, that makes so much more sense.
So, that being said...
I have more respect for him.
Like, being said, I know this was a complete tangent. Thanks for going on a walk with me. That does bring us to our first track. And I think we can go ahead and roll the clip for Sorry I'm
hold
Here.
on. Before we move on, I have one question. For you ladies specifically, is Benson Boone a good-looking man?
Okay, maybe, right, we're just gonna come out and put it on the line. I'm a bisexual woman. My hits are all over the place, and 90% of it is confidence and really just if this is who you want to be, like committing to that. I can see that he's attractive. I can agree. Like, I see some of the appeal. If I had to, like, if we're talking, like, I'm making a hear me out cake, he's not going on it because I think he's conventionally attractive. Like, my biggest thing is, for me, like, you're so young. You're so young. You're still figuring out so much that, like, that aspect doesn't really do it for me. But young me would be, like, possibly foaming at the mouth a little bit, just being like, yeah, he's kind of cute. Don't ask me any questions. Like,
yeah, I could not agree more with that. Like, I do think, like you said, he's conventionally attractive. I think he's too baby for me to find any like, he's just, there's just like an immaturity about him that I just takes a lot away. As I'm, how old am I now? I'm 34, I think.
That's
I just
so
turned.
real. Having to, like, stop for a second, that's so fucking real. If you don't know yet, you don't trust.
Yeah, it's like the men that I find the most attractive right now are like the Pedro Pascals of the world.
Oh
and
my
it's
God,
like
yeah.
I'm leaning towards like significantly older now, and he's just too. I think he can rock a good mustache. I think he's in great shape.
I think part of it is yesterday seeing he was on American Idol. I went down the rabbit hole a minute and I found his audition. And this is like pre-long hair, pre-mustache, and he's so baby faced that like I have that like I don't know. I have this weird like I said, I've come to bat for Benson Boone today, knowing full well that none of us were ready to come in and like be prepared to like listen to this album. And I've scooped up little baby Benson Boone, and I'm like, don't worry, buddy, I've got you, and like I'm ready. Like, but right now I just see him as like he's figuring himself out, and he's so young, and that's so relatable that for me I can't be like smash, like, you know what I mean? Like, is he attractive? Yes. He meets all your conventional things. Sure. I think he's got a really cool like style to him. I support it if he's happy with it.
Cool. I appreciate you guys going down that rabbit hole with me. I looking him up and trying to figure out more about him. I saw so many comments about how he's so attractive. I would hit that like just a ton of that out there. I'm just very curious what the ladies of the
I think he's Gen Z's Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting one.
We'll talk about it more later. Listen, we could go on a whole tangent here, like. So that being said, let's go ahead and for real this time dive in. All right. So we're gonna hit up our clip for our first track on the album entitled "Sorry, I'm Here for Someone Else."
And here's that clip right now.
When she finally walks into the restaurant, hate to say it, but I knew it, I was already gone. Oh, Benny, don't do it, you're breaking her heart. Benny, don't do it, Benny, don't do it. But I need to go. It's not personal. When I say I'm sorry you're here for someone else, it's good to see your face, and I really hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well.
I think this one's a bop.
I love this.
Yeah, this is a little bop.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. I had a good time with this. Benny, don't do it.
Benny, don't do it. Benny, don't do it. Yeah, I've heard this song already, so I think it was one of the singles he released ahead of time. So I came in knowing that I was going to like this. I do think it's a little bop. It's a great way to start the album. I thought his storytelling is basic, but he's telling a really, really good story here. And I love a good storyteller. The outro is where he loses me a little bit. It gets too like poppy Jonas Brother-y, and he kind of loses that like retro vibe that I was really enjoying, but still a good start.
Yeah, immediate impression coming in. It was a bop. Yeah, it's absolutely a bop. It makes me a little dance around my chair a little bit. I'm having a good time. I don't know if you guys were watching the Spotify like 5-second video thing where he's just in like 3 different poses doing this and doing this.
I wasn't.
And all I could think about was fucking Zoolander. Like that's Zoolander. He's an ambi-turner. Benson Boone is like he cannot turn left.
I need to look this up right
that's
now.
all I could say. Like you go to Spotify.
I think I know it's gonna be from one of the music videos, and I do touch on it because y'all know me. If there's a music video, I want to see the artistic vision. Like
he's so fucking goofy looking because he looks so serious. I mean, and he's a conventionally attractive dude, but he's almost making the little face like Zoolander does.
Okay.
Yeah. You see it? Yeah.
Oh.
And that's all I could think about throughout the whole song. Like he looks so silly, but yeah, the song in general, I'm having a good time. It's Benson Boone. It's loud. It's in your face, but it's good. I like.
He's like going through like literally these styles though. With the feather boa is so Harry Styles. Then he's got the jeans and the t-shirt is so Bruce Springsteen coded. Like he is starting off already. I feel like in an identity crisis though. If you look at the visuals.
Yeah.
Well, and so for me, I said this was a really good choice for a lead single. Like it shows the promising potential of the album, and it feels like this really big like stadium pop tune that honestly could be put on a stage next to and even possibly surpass Beautiful Things for for some of like just the vibes, which I hate that I'm like just saying it that way, but like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The chorus to me felt like it ends a little sooner than I'd like. There's this really cool like music theory based kind of lyrical journey though, that I can appreciate. I worry that the chorus ending the way it does for this, it's like, sorry, I'm here for someone else. So it's like ending and cutting off like anything that could have been.
Yeah.
And I like the way that he represents that, like, with this vocal line, with the theory elements to it, and the chord structures that he uses, that progression there, to really, like, kind of just leave you a little disappointed. I worry that, like, for a casual listener, somebody who's not really listening for that, like, level of detail could find it a little off-putting. It's this very explosive synth-heavy production, which I wasn't expecting when, like, the base of what I have for Benson Boone is Beautiful Things in my head. It was definitely a really nice, like, change up. It felt like it was structured when you listen to it overall in the style of, like, the late, great Brian Wilson, who was the Beach Boys writer and producer who recently passed away. And what I'm talking about specifically in the elements for this are, there's these very tight, closed, like, clustered vocal harmonies that he hits over and over. You see a lot of like modular composition and some mix matching of those little modules that he creates in the tune itself, kind of placed throughout. And overall, it also has a very weak chord structure. And what I mean by that is not that it's bad, not that it's incorrect, but in theory, when we talk about something having a weak chord structure, typically you expect your lowest voice to be your bass and your root note. So for point of this example, we're going to say we're in the key of C. You would expect C as your root for the chord to be in your bass voice. It's almost giving like he's giving the third, which makes it weaker in that bass voice, which just makes it's not even unsteady, isn't the right word. Like, it's still a major chord. It's still that major primary chord even, but it's this really unique kind of feel to it. And you used to see that a ton in stuff like the Beach Boys music. So it kind of hit me in that way. I also made a note. I said, it's giving me, like, right out the gate, back my first episode that I did on the podcast with you guys with Bonnie Vare, like the Sable Fable, almost like that kind of a switch up on me in my brain for, like, Bonnie Vare. That fable, very, like, you know, like more
subverting expectations.
And like it was more acoustic, more open sound that I was expecting for Benson Boone versus this would be to me his fable part where it is more dense, it is more like electronic, but he's pulling it off well and I can't complain about it. Like I really dig it.
Oh.
You're gonna notice I go a lot more into some theory stuff in this one because I was like, I'm ready to come to bat, baby. Let's go.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I wrote all that in my notes too. It's crazy. That,
Dude, I can't
about the scales and
man.
everything. Yeah, we are so in tune with this, like with our music theory.
Call him Mr. Electric Blue the way he's right in there, you know?
Hey, there it is. That's a transition into our next song, Mr. Electric Blue.
Ooh, Mr. Electric Blue, I wanna dance like you. How did you get so cool?
You've got it.
You got electric soul. You let the good times roll. Mr. Electric Blue. You got it. They say that he fell from space or some supernatural place. Mr. Electric Blue.
I know I believe in you.
Mel's making a face.
Okay, so he loses me a little here. Okay, why did he pick the color blue? Just because it rhymes with you? Like the lyricism gets so fucking lazy here for me. It just seems like he just picked something that rhymes well. I didn't like the post-chorus. He does that. It wasn't his worst, but he gets nails on chalkboardy for me, and I don't like that octave when he hits there. And what the fuck was that robot voice at the end? Like, what the fuck was that? I hated that. I was like, that is so unnecessary. I did really like the little piano outro though, because I thought it was a cool little hint to like mystical magical, which is going to come up later, which I thought was a cute touch. But like, my God, he was all over the place here, and I could not get with it.
So I'm going to take us on a whole journey in a minute.
Yeah.
Bob, if you have something you want to say first, or...
I do want to say, like, I enjoyed the song. It's a fun song. Apparently the song is about his father. Like, that's who Mr. Electric Blue is, that's nice. It's probably a nice song about your dad. He definitely thinks a lot of his dad, sounds like. I maybe I didn't look deep enough into the lyrics to see exactly how he thinks of his dad. But it was fun. I was having fun. It got me moving in my seats. I wasn't. I'm not. It's not something I'd go back to and like, oh yeah, Mr. Electric Blue's on. But you know, I'm having fun so far. It
looks like the music video to this is really, really, really funny though, and he's like ripping on himself, which I
Let me take you on the journey.
Yeah.
Because, right, so I was like, I've got to come ready. Every opinion that I've got to be ready to defend, to back up, to
bring
support.
the receipts.
Because I was like, aside from the fact that, like, I could see us getting ripped apart by fans for not, like, really looking at this, I said, if I'm going to like it, knowing that, like, I may be, like, stepping up to bat, let me make sure I know what I'm talking about. So the whole journey I went on with this song, I said, I dig the synth crescendo, like this building up into the start. And then you get that got of like the drum to really kind of push us through. And immediately I went, oh my God, it feels like Bruce Springsteen trying to do 2020 pop. I'm a little scared. And this was the first time where I really like between the album art and this, I really went, okay, I see the Bruce Springsteen. We know how I feel about Bruce Springsteen. I can get on board with Americana. Bruce Springsteen, the issue that I face a lot is people who nod to that don't quite get it 9 times out of 10. And so I came in very hesitant, hearing that, a little worried. It also felt to me like an ELO, like an electric light orchestra reference a little bit, like for their Mr. Blue Sky, some of the effects and vibes, that little robot-y sort of voice sound, like that we get in that track some, which I don't hate. Again, like I am all about drawing inspiration and influence and making references, so I can get on board with it. The beat is really fun. The vocals are fun, though you can hear moments where it's very breathy. The reason I bring that up is that can be a sign, and I talk about this in a couple of different spots, of not caring for your voice properly. And as younger artist, sometimes that breathy tone is just, it's a stylistic choice. And when that happens, there is a way that you can do that. That is healthy for your vocal cords to be able to sustain that without any damage or anything of that nature. After hearing how we've heard him in things like Beautiful Things, where he does kind of go for this raspy yell, I do have a little concern about making sure that he is taking care of his voice, because I do think he has a natural talent. Hearing the American Idol audition, hearing the way that he just sounds as a vocalist. So agreed. I'm hoping that is more of a stylistic choice and not a I'm using my voice incorrectly as an instrument, which can cause harm. It does feel very like kind of like peak, like, I don't know, 2010s, like Americana pop to me, though. You've got your blue collar representation you expect for Americana. You've got like a classic rock beat and elements. You've turned them into like a synth pop. I don't hate it. I saw that there was a music video, so I went and watched it. And first of all, overall, love the music video.
It's really funny.
I think it is so fun. I love that he's making all these cheeky nods to all of their critiques about him and the critics who talk about him. I mean, from the shirts he's wearing to the little labels he puts underneath stuff to the way he's
has like an
acting
industry plant records behind him.
Like he's wearing his electric blue jumpsuit from the Grammys. Like, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very tongue in cheek. It shows that he's able to also kind of poke fun and laugh at himself, and like, you know, he's kind of not letting all that's said about him get to him. There's also a critique of agents and labels and how they kind of interact with artists in there a little bit. The fun vibes and the whole nature around it and production of it made me like him a lot more as an artist, because I think there's something fun about being able to go, I hear your critiques, and taking them just kind of on the chin and playing with that too. There was even a moment where they're like, you're the Beautiful Things guy. Like, I don't like you. And he just like eats the ice cream in front of the little girl. I'm like, you know what? That was so funny. I loved it. The track itself, standalone overall, does feel like it's a little bit lackluster, though it is earnest in its tribute to his dad and even a little bit to his ambitions when you pair it with some of how he works in the music video. It feels like there's some sort of element that is really missing to make it shine, to make it feel like really peak authentic to him, maybe. And there are a few moments where we can hear again the lack of training potentially that could lead over time and if used incorrectly to damage to his voice, which can be a little concerning. Though I do think that the breathiness we get is something that we don't like blink twice at if we hear it in an indie artist. So I think it's interesting that so many people point to that because we're not holding that same standard for everybody.
Right.
This is like, for me, I enjoyed this a lot more and I really enjoy it now after seeing the music video and seeing like just the fun kind of like goofiness of it. Cause like, for me, that's part of what it's about is like the fun and you're obviously having fun and I love that for you. So hell yeah, dude. Like, I do think there's a couple of things where like maybe, and I made a note about this later, but I think almost we're giving him a Taylor Swift kind of treatment at times. And what I mean by that is we're real, like a lot of us I think are really prejudging him. And granted, he is trying to figure himself out, and I do think we hear that throughout this, that we do have that bit of like an identity crisis almost, and some things just don't quite feel as authentic maybe as we want them to. But I do think we're just kind of going, it's Benson Boone, write it off. And in the words of CMAT, don't be a bitch. Maybe give it a chance. And I'm glad that I did, you know?
I literally just watched this entire music video while you were talking about that. And
it's
this
so
is
fun.
really, this is fantastic self-awareness. The jokes are spot on. A lot of the things I've heard about him are literally being displayed in words throughout the music video. Yeah. So yeah. It's fun, yeah. Like I said, it's a fun song. I don't think it's his best song by any stretch of the imagination, but
it's my least favorite on the album.
Really,
I absolutely appreciate the music video. Yeah, that's a weird take, but we'll get into that soon. All right.
Well, if nothing else, it's time for the next one. Talking about the man in, not me, in Benson Boone, but the time, we'll see.
The man.
I felt weird. I lost my layup. We're just gonna roll with it. Time for man in
See,
me.
it's not that easy, is it?
You took the man in me, you took his sanity, you stole the last of any light inside his eyes. You really made me bleed blood on these ivory keys. You killed the only part of me I ever liked. You took the man in me. Where is the man in me?
This has my favorite lines from him. I think you really made me bleed. Blood on these ivory keys is the best line I've ever heard him write. I loved that. I really, really liked this chorus. There was a lot going on here. And he just has a tendency like on his bridges to get like too theatric, and I wish he would tune it back a little because I was enjoying it so much, and he just has a tendency to take it a step too far, and I wish he would just pull back a little bit.
That is my biggest criticism of the entire album, is that he is so fucking talented and he has such a great voice, and he feels the need to be so theatric and so in your face with every bridge, every chorus. And if you just brought it back a notch or two, like this would be one of my favorite albums of the year. I'll be honest with you. But there's just so much of that in this song. He does it a ton. Where's that man? I mean, I'm no Benson Boone, but like it just gets out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, the bridge took me out. I was like really upset about it.
See, for me, I was less concerned by the bridge because I think it becomes emblematic of sort of what we've discussed of like he feels like he has to really sell it and he has to really drive it home for it to come across as earnest and authentic. And I think part of that is just that we haven't seen his identity as an artist. I mean, he's still such a young artist.
Yeah,
You know, in the
really
grand
is.
scheme of things, not only is he really young, like just in age, but in his own artistry. And I think we're really trying to help him find through these songs that he's producing the actual Benson
sweet spot.
Boone. Yeah, and so I don't hate it for that because he is
hate it.
trying, and I can appreciate that he is really trying to find it. What threw me off was the amount of panting, and it wasn't as bad in this. There's one later where I literally mid-thought stopped to be like, don't do that, and then keep going. I really dig the harmonization that we get of this ooh la la, like over and over. The dance synth really works well here. I like the contrast of the crisp, bright vocals over this synth, which is really dancey, but it almost is serving me like underwater synth a little bit, which is kind of an interesting contrast when you take in like the narrative that he's giving here. I love the dramatic lyrics. I really feel like it's kind of cinematic. It's really selling me. I like the picture he's painting. The kick snare beat is great. It's very driving, especially when you contrast it with the very loping, kind of easygoing bass line here. The mix throughout feels really good. It does feel a little bit unsettled, ungrounded to me at times, and that could work really well with the song when we don't have some of those harmonizing vocals. I don't hate it, given everything that they're doing. It feels very open and honest, and I love the shift at the very end to that very almost genuine, like, torn away, just simple piano keyboard at the end. And
That's
it
my favorite
really,
part.
to me, helps play up the Ivory Keys lyric that Mel was talking about earlier. Like, there's just, I really like what he's doing here. I do feel like, again, I feel like I want to buy in. I feel like it's missing something for me to do that.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not.
It's so
a bad
close,
song,
though.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
so much of
close.
what I see is like it feels like we're right there. We're right there. We're almost there, and I just kind of want it to go just one step further in one area. You know.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing with him too is he wants to display passion because he's clearly passionate about the things he's writing about and the things he's singing. It's just you don't have to
Scream it in someone's face.
Yes. To be passionate, you can be passionate and because the end of the song does that. The chord, the very end, he's able to be very passionate and very reserved, I guess is the best way to put it. But he still gets his thoughts and emotions.
Some of
out
it
there,
is he's a very passionate performer, whether you love him or hate him for that. I think there is usually a difference in what you see from a performance for a recording standpoint versus if I'm playing to a stadium of like 10,000 people. And I think sometimes what we get is the energy, enthusiasm that we love to see on stage, but sometimes doesn't translate as well in a recording booth.
That's a good way. Yeah, that's a good point. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, should we move on to the big single that I think everyone knows about? Mystical Magical is our next track.
Magical.
Actually, Mel, could you just do it for us? And I
really want some
you're
ice
on the spot there.
Moonbeam.
Some moonbeam ice cream. Here we go, Mystical
He's
Magical.
doing
For
a
those,
collab
for
with
those who somehow
Crumble
haven't heard
Cookie.
this yet.
You guys see the collab with Crumble Cookie?
No,
They're
but
putting
that's
out
amazing.
a Moonbeam ice cream cookie.
We're gonna go down that rabbit hole later because I have so many thoughts on that.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Bob.
Mystical Magical.
Once you know what my love's gonna feel like, nothing else will feel right. You can feel like moonbeam ice cream, taking off your blue jeans, dancing at the movies, 'cause it feels so mystical, magical, oh baby, 'cause once you know my love is so mystical, magical, oh baby, 'cause once you know ticket, baby. I wanna give you the world.
I can't hate it. It's good. It feels like the most manufactured pop song on the album to me, but it's catchy. It's fun.
Hot take on this. I
Go
think
ahead.
if this had been put out by Harry Styles, we would not be hearing the critique that we hear about it.
I would agree. I would agree with that,
this
think.
feels like he wanted
It's
it
fun.
to be his watermelon sugar moment so bad. Unfortunately, but watermelon sugar at least has like an inspiration. Like it's like drawing to like it's about oral sex essentially, and I like the metaphor there. He literally admits that Moonbeam ice cream, he doesn't know what it is, and he's just gonna make it a thing. It just felt right. Like it's just like there's no actual meaning behind it, which upsets me. I don't just throw in words because you think it sounds cool. Like I just want there to be a reason behind it. I don't know. I do hate how catchy it is at parts.
It's so catchy.
But
It's such a catchy
I don't
song.
hate it. I think I'm a little neutral on it overall. I agree. Like sometimes it's okay. Not everything has to mean something, but when people are asking about it and it constantly is just a throwaway, like you yourself seem to not like, you know, you came up with it somewhere. You chose to keep it for a reason. Just tell me it's fun. Don't tell me it doesn't mean anything if you kept it in the song. Like, I don't need it to be some deep, profound thing. I just want to know that, like, we kept it because it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun idea to play around with, and it doesn't have to be more than that.
Like at least Harry Styles, like he's munching on his watermelon sugar and he got high, man. Like, just don't say you don't have any reason behind it. Like he's just like, I don't fucking know.
Like, and I appreciate like the sincerity and like being open and genuine about that and sharing it, but like it does kind of make it hit a little different, you know. The whimsy overall that we're kind of getting from this, I don't know, it feels a bit too much at times. Like it's a little bit too sugary sweet for me. I do think it's interesting that it kind of interpolates Olivia Newton-John's physical. Mystical,
I didn't think about that.
Like over and over. I think that's kind of a fun nod. I think it's a fun like little sampling of something and taking it and making it his own, which I can really appreciate. It almost feels like it's trying to be kind of just fun and summer sweet, and then at times it's trying to be a little too whimsical, and I just kind of almost needed it to be in one camp or the other. The synth kind of almost reminds me at times, like there's a moment or two where I'm like, it kind of almost feels a little like The Killers-ish, and like I don't know if that's just me feeling some type of way or not. It's not necessarily good or bad. And the vocals, the way that he does it at the end is almost to me kind of reminiscent of like Freddie Mercury, but almost from like a tribute singer kind of way, which I can also see if he's doing the Bohemian Rhapsody cover at Coachella and stuff like that. I don't know that it hits the way that I want it to, but it does again seem to be another influence that he's kind of looking at, taking, mulling over. The music video for this one, because I did watch it, is I think might be, I haven't seen the little 5-second thing because it only shows up on your phone. I get the feeling maybe that is taken from that music video. The music video for me is kind of lackluster. I said it's giving me, quote, I gotta figure out what the pop girlies are doing and how to make it work for me, but without understanding the crucial playful heart and the critique sometimes, like, ironically, that comes from what the current big pop girls are doing. I said, I do think at the end of the day that he could end up being the artist that becomes, like, the new pop guy. I could see him figuring that out with the energy he brings and this creativity and this genuine feel, but it's like he hasn't quite figured something out to step into that role. I am here for it, especially as he goes on this journey and especially once he finds it, because I'm excited to see where he goes. Also, as a complete side note, like, tangent here, I do think that I actually own one of the sets of PJs that he's wearing in this music video, and I couldn't, every time he came up in that outfit, I just kept looking at it and being like, I think I own that. Like, So that is completely unrelated to what we're talking about. But going back to like talking about like wearing these different outfits and things, he wears an outfit that is very like Freddie Mercury-esque. He wears different outfits that feel very Bruce Springsteen or very, and so this is where I started to be like, I can sense a bit of like the identity crisis, because it's one thing we talked about earlier to give nods to other influences or artists. And there are times where I feel like it's almost trying to emulate them instead of saying, I like that they do this, or I like how they approach these things and making it my own. Because I feel like at some extent, he is still trying to figure out kind of who he is, which is just a product of being young, right? Like that's part of what your 20s are for, right? But also musically as an artist, he's still so young that I can see him trying to figure that out here too.
Yeah. I do give him a lot of props for actually buying an ice cream truck to commit to the bit. I love that.
Yeah.
Big
you
fan.
know me. I love to commit to a good bit.
Yeah. So he gets brownie points for just being a funny guy.
He's just a little guy.
Yeah.
He's just a little guy. Silly, goofy guy.
Yeah,
he's
he's
coming out. Hit him with your car. No.
Yeah, he definitely, watching some of these music videos, he feels likable, you know. I don't know the guy personally. I don't know if that's manufactured as well, but like he seems to be in on the joke, so to speak, and that always gives extra points for me. Like self-awareness is so big for artists like this. But next up we have reminds me. I'm sorry, no. What will we have next?
You're right.
You're right.
Reminds me of you. We have Reminds Me of You, and we're going to play a clip from that right now. I was going to step away for 30 seconds while that happens. I'll be right back, but you guys keep going.
You got a million different pairs of underwear spread out on my couch cause you left them there. You got a couple little candles in my living room I still light at night just to set the mood. A box of written letters on my nightstand with a Polaroid picture of your chest. And when I'm driving my car to the overlook spot, I could smell your perfume in the vents. And ooh, what do I do? What do I do? When every damn thing reminds me of you.
I don't hate it. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So can I just say, a million pairs of underwear on your couch is so gross. Pick them up, bro. Like, why'd you have to say that?
Like also, who has that many pairs of underwear? Like, I don't know. Who am I to critique anybody out there, right? But like,
are we saying? Yeah, the million pairs of underwear part is ridiculous.
It's just weird to me. Like, lyrically.
And then he says a couple candles in the next line. Like he just says just 2 candles. Why didn't you exaggerate the number of candles too? Like what?
Yeah, it's very, that's giving very much like middle school boy, and I have I'm seeing this chick and I need to like exaggerate how cool I am and how much sex I'm having. And it's just like, dude, no, dirty underwear all over your couch is really gross. Can you like clean it up, please?
That's like, to me, he's trying to like take advantage. Like, it's a very classic lyrical like concept to like, oh, things remind me of you and this and that. And like, if you're not careful, it doesn't feel unique to you or to the situation or the person. And maybe it's like a little inside joke between him and his partner or something, and we just aren't privy to it. But like, I do appreciate that, you know, for better or for worse, whether or not I like the direct lines or not, that he do get some very like some just enough detail at points to make it feel like it is new, that it's not just going down the same path we hear all the time. The one line that I specifically noted was a box of letters on my nightstand with a Polaroid picture of your chest. Which, like, I don't know. I put after that, I said, the retro indie pop girls are really going to eat this up this summer. It does remind me some of, like, almost Mac DeMarco a little bit. The drums, well, go check out Mac DeMarco. Get back to me. The drums here do slow it down, but they continue to keep us moving forward. It doesn't feel like it's laid too far back, and there is a more relaxed synth, so we do still have some sort of connecting line through all the songs here. Though we do also get a little variety, which I appreciate. I Loved the little like stop right at the end of the bridge. Like, okay, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was nice. That is a fun fake out in case you're taking notes. Some people should listen to the podcast. I said again in this one, I feel like I'm hearing a lot of possible signs of some vocal wear due to strain that are a little bit concerning. I really hope that he's got folks who are looking out for him, not just like financially, not just emotionally, mentally, like physically, which is all also important. But I really want them to be taking care of him vocally. Whether that means he needs to look into a vocal coach just to make sure that how he's approaching some of these these techniques and stylistic things that he's been doing, which I do think are neat. You can really, really cause some vocal cord health issues.
I mean, look at Brendan Urie. We literally watch him ruin his vocal cords like in the span of his career. Yeah. Like we just watched that unfold in front of us, and it's sad.
Yeah, and what I'm talking about specifically in this instance, we hear a lot of that breathiness again. It almost sounds like with the reminds me of you. It feels like we're almost keening and like reaching a little bit too far to hit some of these upper notes, which maybe we just aren't supporting properly, or maybe it's okay that we just don't have to go to that vocal range. Maybe it's not healthy for our vocal cords. And sometimes, especially when we're reaching, we get that scratchier tone, which can show some signs of distress in your vocal cords. We talk about like vocal fry often with things like that. So I do hope that he's got somebody in his corner and a part of his team that is keeping an eye on that and making sure that he's got the support as a younger artist to develop healthy habits, and that what we're hearing are just stylistic choices. But I do feel it's important to note.
Yeah, my biggest complaint, other than the straining of his vocals, because it makes me sad because his potential is incredible, and it not only does it doesn't sound satisfying in the song, and it for something to not sound that great, why are you hurting yourself to do it? Yeah. And then my only other big complaint were some of the lyrics. Like, I literally started to feel bad for this girl because he's like listing like tired eyes and like t-shirt stains as things that remind him of her. And then I was like, okay, well, at least he saves it with like the cute bridge and he starts like actually listing some cute things. But I was like, man, this poor girl is just like tired and stinky, I guess. I don't know.
Damn. Leave her dirty underwear everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, the lyrics are very questionable in this song. I get what it's trying to do, but it's I don't know. This is a weird one for me. I don't think it's a horrible song. He actually ends this with some nice volume control that I've been wanting the entire album. I think that the ending is very nice. But yeah, you guys already mentioned the underwear thing. That was really my biggest takeaway. And so it didn't. This one didn't do a lot for me, but.
Yeah, it's not my favorite on the album. I see what we're going for. I appreciate the variety. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. All right, next up we have a mama song, the mama song. It's just called Mama Song.
Take me down your old street. Tell me your memories of when you were young and where you fell in love. Drive me through the country. Tell me your story, and you can play all of your favorite songs. 'Cause I'm gonna need this when I'm holding pictures of you, and that's all that I've got left.
This is such a beautiful song lyrically. Why is it so loud? Why does he have to sing this so loudly? For me, that's rough. If you just took it back a notch, this would be such a good, like, we haven't had a good mama song since like Boys to Men, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like this is the song that's going to be played at every mother son dance at every wedding for the next 20 years. People are going to love it. It's so, he's doing too much. He's just doing too much.
Yes.
100%.
My biggest gripe
100%.
with this mix for me was, we heard at the tail end of this, when the vocals fall out of the chorus and we get the violins, they almost are like nailed chalkboardy. because of the filtering and condensing they're put through to get the effect. And for me, I wouldn't have even hated it how we just toned it down a little bit or had it moved a little slower, but because it was doing that line, because I don't mind it through the rest of the chorus, that one little line, that melodic like segment there just grates on me a little bit. I feel like it's just getting a little too much. Overall, I like the piano over the synths. I really like that leaning towards the acoustic side of things. I really appreciate the more like endearing side to the artist, and you can tell that like the kid's got a really good heart. Like this like pulled up my heartstrings. It's a nice like little ballad, a nice ode to his mother, and even to his father at times. The specific line we heard, cause I'm gonna need this when I'm holding pictures of you and that's all I've got left, really fucking hit, and it caught me off guard. Like, and I caught myself like tearing up just because like that really just hits. And the music video itself for this, I said I could see him creating a young pop path for him that could be somewhere almost between like even Michael Bublé and Bruno Mars. For the way that he's got this presentation, this staging, the way that he does this song. But again, I can see maybe some influences from those things, and I just don't see enough taking over it here. This feels one of the most authentically him songs.
Agree.
And maybe because it is something so close to his heart as like this part of your own family and all of this. And I do think overall the music video itself features a lot of family footage of him and his mother and like even his dad some. And I think that that's just really sweet to be able to open up and do that. So I like it. I think this is a great song. I feel like there were some different production choices I would have made personally, but I think that if like when we get the nice acoustic ballad of this at live shows, it's really going to be a tearjerker.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, this one was, again, it's like you said, it's the first time I felt like he was being so genuine. I thought it was really, really beautiful. And I actually had to dissociate through a lot of it to like not sob because it just like was it hit a little too hard.
Had I not literally seen my mother yesterday morning before listening to this, I would have been a fucking wreck. Like,
yeah, it was like, wow, I actually have to like kind of just tune this out because I emotionally can't handle it. But it was, I wish he would tone it back at times because I would love to have a more tender version of this. I think it would hit so much harder than just like screaming it at the top of your lungs.
Well, but listening to some of the stuff off his first album after listening to this, a lot of it is that more acoustic, more tender almost feeling to it. And I worry, he said that he wanted to distance himself from beautiful things and show that he's not just that artist, because I think he's gotten a lot of flack. Like, again, I think it's almost like this Taylor Swift effect a little bit where like he got so much kickback for that he's like, I want to show that I am more than that. But I think sometimes on like a track like this, maybe it's a little bit to the detriment of the track itself. Because he's trying to prove that he can do something different when it's okay to say, this is who I am, to stick to your guns on some things. So
yeah.
Well,
it's a heavy. That was a heavy one.
Let's say we move on to something with a little more kick to it. This is "I Wanna Be the One You Call."
Flowers in your braided hair, Calvin Klein underwear, hanging out your jeans. You're such a tease, you're so beautiful. I just need your number.
When he does that anything there, I think that is so much more impactful than when he screams. And I want more of that so bad. Like, so bad. I hated the intro
Same.
though. The intro was so weird and random, and like the switch up from Mama song to his little, what were they like?
It's whimsical.
Bum
I don't know.
doo-doos. Like I was like, what are we doing?
Do 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 do.
And then when he started like, he did that weird breathy thing, and then he started ramping up his vocals so high, and then I was like, "Oh my god, please,
Don't do it! Don't do it!
don't do it!" And then he just kept doing it, and I was like, "Oh my god, stop!" Like, in the chorus, you proved how I don't know. He always takes it too far. It's exhausting.
This is one of the better songs on the album for me. I think he does tone it down a lot more in the song. I don't think he does that as much. I agree. I literally wrote down my note was there's a solid couple of minutes before he started yelling. So that solid couple of minutes is great. It's amazing.
Good. It's so good.
It's very
and he
good.
ruins
It
it.
gives me like really big 2010s indie bop. I couldn't place until we listened to it again. I was like, just the beat underneath it reminds me of something. It reminds me of As It Was by Harry Styles. This like beat that he's got going underneath it, which is I think a fun another nod to some of what we've seen in other places. Mm-hmm. It's that very classic indie guitar, the drum beat. I did make a note right at the guy said we're really kind of getting into the panting thing, huh? Interesting choice. Then the next line I literally wrote fun though. I think it's probably more sensual. Dash stop panting in my ears, please. Dash song on the album so far. So this is where I was like, okay, like hang on a minute because it's that like. I don't know if we're hyperventilating. I get what we're trying to do. It's okay to lay back a little bit, or maybe not do it to this extent if we're gonna do it this down. Like we're doing it like we're real down bad, and I'm okay with that. I can get on board with being down bad in a song, but like, I don't know. I said I like some of the lyrics and the storytelling moments, like the "I just need your number if you have a phone," like the "I just want to be the name you scream when you need." Yeah. Anything like that breath, that pause, like is so playful. So, I like that.
So good.
The modulation at the end here that we've got, I really liked. It felt like a good choice, and it felt like it was pushing us out of this boundary of our vocal range, unfortunately, with good technique. Yeah. So maybe it wasn't quite the right key for us to modulate to, or we should have taken it maybe down an octave, or let ourselves be a harmony voice instead of the root voice. I do dig it overall. I do think we went a little too hard in the paint with some of the panting in places. We don't have to put it in every song. I promise it'll be okay if we don't get it in every song. And especially at the end, the extent to which we're panting feels a little, maybe it's just that it was a little extra out of place and unsettling when I just listened to you sing a really heartfelt song to your mom. And now you're panting really heavily in my ear. And it was just a little offsetting. So for me... just a little less of that could have been really cool. Like,
yeah,
like,
it was a weird switch up. Yeah, it was a weird placement, man.
Yeah, it's a very weird place to add a song immediately after. I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, regardless of like who you are, I don't want to hear you like really be like, "Mom, I love you so much," and then come over and go, "Hey, baby girl, what's up?" and like be dirty in my ear a little bit, and like I don't know. I felt like we were sitting at like the breakfast table with your mom, and she got up to go like grab a plate of something for your dad, and you're suddenly trying to like hit it, and I don't know, it just felt a little weird.
Like jerked off under the dinner table.
Like I don't know, I was just a little off put by that, but you know, I think anywhere else, had it not been right after a song about your mom, I would have felt better about this, and I think I feel better about it standalone. It was just a really weird shift.
Agree.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that brings us to...
That makes him a wanted man.
Yeah,
he definitely committed some crimes.
There's a bounty out. That's crazy.
I love it. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Our next song is Wanted Man. We're going to play that right now.
Something about the way you're made. You're making me feel like I'm on it. You're making me feel like I want it, man. I give up my life for your loving. Dead or alive, I'm a wanted man. You're making me feel like I want it. You're making me feel like I want it, man.
did it again.
Every fucking time, man.
This, I think it works a little bit better.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Like, I don't mind it when
This
it's a stylistic choice, or when it's like even a live show. I worry when you hear it in a recorded album because you have no idea how, like, you spent hours in a recording booth and you do so many takes, and this can be very wearing on a voice, very taxing on your vocal cords. Overall, I dig the beat. I dig the guitar. I loved the switch up in the guitar in the second verse. That was a lot of fun.
Me too.
I
wrote that
don't
down. Yeah.
hate the panting here. It just back to back with a song that really featured the panting feels a little bit too much. I do think it was an interesting choice that in some of these verses we almost substitute the panting for like a hi-hat kick, and I think that can be a really fun creative choice. Again, it felt like it was less of a choice and more of like, this is a style thing that we're going for instead, because we just had a whole nother song right before this with a lot of panting. The chorus lyrics overall felt like they could benefit from like a unique twist of some kind. They felt very kind of almost canned. And especially when you contrast it with so many more interesting lines. Like right at the start, we've got O2 eyes like revolver machines, baby aim your lethal weapons at me. Like that's such a cool line. I love like this like picture you're painting for me. And then we go to like a very canned set of lines. I don't know. Overall, I dig it. It would either benefit from less panting on this track or less panting on the tracks before this to make this stand out as a different artistic choice. At least breaking them up, I think, on the album would have made me feel a little better.
This
100%.
This one at points reminded me. You guys aren't as big of Harry Styles fans as me, maybe, but it gave "Kiwi" by Harry Styles at parts a lot, and I love that song so much. And so I thought that gave it a really cool vibe. I really liked the direction he's going in this one. The lyrics at some points came off tacky, which I thought hurt it a little bit. Overall, I think this was actually one of the better ones for me, though.
Yeah, agreed. This is the top half of the album for me. I like the lyrics. I think they're fun. I like the messaging in general. Like, you make me feel good. You make me feel wanted. I love that. And it's Men's Mental Health Month, guys, and on top of Pride Month. So I enjoy things that make me feel wanted as a man. I like that. I'm glad Benson Boone wants to say that.
We want you, Bob, in our lives. We love you.
You know what, Bob?
Absolutely.
You could take us home.
Yeah.
Trin's going to like that a little too much.
Yeah, we will too, though.
Yeah. There'll be a wanted woman at that point. Take Me Home is our next track, our second to last track on this Benson Boone album, and here we go.
Well, damn it, they'd be crazy if they never saw and knew what I failed to see at 17. I must have missed it too. Oh, kiss me slowly, like you did when we were young, and hold me like you know me, like the old days. Take me home.
This one is actually my favorite on the album.
Really?
I thought this had really, really pretty storytelling again. I thought the buildup was appropriate. I didn't think he ever took it too far. It always felt like he was in control of what he was doing. I just thought it was really, really, really sweet. And again, it felt genuine again. Like, I actually felt the emotion coming through on this one. Yeah, I really like this song.
For me, I thought it was an interesting choice. I like having a second ballad on this. It feels like a weird placement. I like the placement of this one. I feel like maybe Mama should have been a little bit further up maybe in the album instead, to kind of contrast so we don't have such blocks and then two slower songs nearby. I really like some of these lines. The one I wrote down in particular, I'm glad to see your eyes ain't changed at all. They always looked a little greener in the fall.
Yeah.
For me, though, some of the
sweet.
impact and power of some of the lines didn't quite feel as driven home as I wanted them to be by the chorus, which did feel lyrically weaker overall. It can be a rough hand for a ballad, especially because it depends on how you perform them. Like, choruses are always really impactful moments. Verses and over choruses in this song pretty much consistently. The late dynamic surge helped build a lot of emotion in the piece. I just really wish that the chorus and the outro itself had felt a little bit stronger to really give me more of the impact I was looking for. But I still think it's a special ballad. It's
a good ballad. I love it lyrically. I don't like the delivery of it. It's something about it that's grating to me, the way he sings it, and he's clearly capable of delivering a wonderful ballad. And you guys probably both think it's amazing. And you said it's your favorite song in the album, Mel, but something in it is just missing for me, and something it didn't hit me the way I'm a romantic. I love stuff like this, and this, I don't know. Maybe I just need to listen to it again in the correct mood, but whatever it was, this did not take me home.
Bless your American little heart.
Yeah, bless my young American heart. Here we have coming up the final track, the kind of title track. The track has a young at the beginning of it when the album is called American Heart, but that's okay. We'll accept this as the title track anyway. Here for your listening pleasure, Young American Heart.
If I'm gonna die a young American, and this was the final night we'd ever have again, I'd be just fine as long as I'm wherever you are. 'Cause you stole my young American heart. Well, it's been a long 2 years since you have left the country, and now you and I, we're living in some crazy times. And I get so scared we'll never make it through our 20s, and we'll lose it all for nothing.
Oh, welcome back to the stage, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, for real. So super heartland Americana that As Long As I'm Wherever You Are murdered my eardrums. It was just like, Jesus Christ, man, why'd you do that? Yeah. Again, I just think there's a decent amount of potential with it, but we're back to not feeling genuine. We're back to, I think, overdoing it. I did read that this was inspired by a car crash that he was in, where it kind of just like shocked him into like, I don't know, kind of like a YOLO moment, like taking life not for granted, which I think has like really cool messaging. The emotion doesn't come off to me. It's not giving anything for me.
Yeah, I didn't get that from the lyrics at all. Yeah, that's, even just reading the lyrics now, I'm not feeling any of it. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it's a lot of like, if I'm gonna die, but like I want to feel some passion around that. I want like, I don't know.
Yeah, for me, this so reminiscent of Bruce Springsteen. There's a couple of moments that are a little synthier that reminds me of the Killers again, a little bit more here.
Yeah.
The piano really feels like the heartbeat through all of this, and I do feel like it's a nice texture when you compare it to this very heavily filtered synth that they've got going. I think that's kind of a fun interplay. I like the texture it brings, and I do appreciate like some of the lines, like, and now you and I were living in some crazy times, and I get so scared we'll never make it through our 20s and we'll lose it all for nothing. I think that's really evocative writing. Maybe this is my little millennial heart. We've been through a lot of shit. I need for it to mean a little bit more. Yes. And while he does seem very earnest when he's singing some of these, it doesn't feel as authentic as I'd like for it to. It feels a lot like he's again trying to cling to people that he knows people really have liked, and people that he finds as inspirations or influences, and he's not necessarily making it his own thing. Which I think falls a little bit flatter than I want it to, because that, for better or for worse, is something that I've seen a lot in media and a lot just in the world in my millennial era, lifespan at this point. And some of it are just a little bit too on the nose, like, you stole my American heart. Okay. And okay, like, next, please.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid track. But this is not one of my favorites on it.
Yeah.
I also think it's a really weird time to be patriotic. I don't know. Is that...
See, and this is what I'm talking about when I talk about like when a lot of people do Bruce Springsteen, they pick up on the patriotic side and the nationalistic side, whereas he does that with that kind of style and sound, but he's very critical of things. And so this is where on this like track in particular, I feel like it kind of lost me. I was ready to go, okay, like give me some young Bruce Springsteen, give me some of this, and it just feels like a little bit of like him missing or not fully grasping and understanding the point or understanding the heart of it, which is again something that I mentioned earlier in the magical mystical where like it's almost like he's doing some of what he sees like some of the pop girls doing that people are just eating up, but it's just missing that certain little element that shows that he really gets it and has made it his own, that really lets it click. And I feel like I'm kind of missing that same element here.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
This is a throwaway song for me in general. I didn't write any notes on it, and I even listening to that clip now, I feel nothing for it. I don't need this on the album at all.
Which is sad because it's like it does feel like it's like the whole title track and the point of the album, and we're just like nah.
Like I think there are definitely stronger tracks on the album. I think there are definitely stronger ways to end. I'm not mad at it. It's not my least favorite ending track that we've come across on an album, but it's fine. But on that note, what do you guys think overall? Who wants to go first? Share with the class.
All right. I'll go first, I suppose. Listen, this Benson Boone is immensely talented. Despite what some people might say. I don't know how to put this.
I know, it's hard.
For every one moment, I think, oh shit, like this dude is amazing. There are like 5 moments where I'm like, holy shit, dude, bring it back a little. And we've talked about this already. Why are you yelling this? Just have some restraint in your delivery of these songs, and there's so many cases where it'd be so much better. He can absolutely hit those high notes, and he could do that. Beautiful Things is a great example where the impact is there for that, those high notes he hits, but there are so many songs in this album that it doesn't hit the same way. There are songs that do feel generic and kind of corporate co-worker music that is kind of artificially created by the corporations, whatever they want to call it. I do think he's a lot more genuine, especially after talking through some of the things and the bio that Rose gave and watching some of these music videos. I think there's more genuineness than I initially gave him credit for. So I'm kind of putting that into my new rating that's in my head. I wrote down a rating, got kind of a new rating in my head. It's fine. It's not horrendous. Again, this isn't my type of music. In general, I'm not going to go listen to Benson Boone albums at all in my own spare time. I might hear something on the radio and say, oh, that's nice. Or, I remember this song. I'll turn this up a little because I liked this one, or no, let's skip this because I hate this. But I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I'll put it at that. I initially wrote down a 6.1 as the rating. Based on the conversations we've had today and based on hearing some of this again, I want to give him a little more credit. And I think there's so much more potential there for him in my eyes. And a lot of people are going to think he's hit that potential already, in this album. And that's fine. That's your opinion. That's not mine. My opinion is he's sitting at about a 6.8 right now for me.
That's more than I thought you'd move up, to be honest. I was thinking you were going to put it like at a 6.5.
Yeah. No, it's a 6.8. It's a 6.8. It's not, I recognize it. I recognize his talent. I recognize his potential. I think that's what gets me there. I don't think it's realized on this album in all but like 1 or 2 songs, but not bad. Not bad. What do you guys think?
So for me, like I said earlier, it all just feels like an identity crisis, and knowing the background now, that checks out, and it very much is an identity crisis. I'm rooting for him to figure out who he is, because the potential of him as an artist is like, it's it's big. Like, if big change is coming, baby. It's big. With that being said, there's literally nothing on this album I can say I loved. There's a lot I can say I hated. And he just, again, there's a lot that he does well. But he has a tendency, to take it too far, to push too much, to strain his vocals too much. And again, I just don't think I don't think being louder makes something more impactful. And I just want him so badly to tune things back. I did like it more than I thought I would, but I'm still not rating it that great. There's a lot that took me out. I gave it a 5.7. I so badly want him to do better than this, and I think that's what frustrates me the most. I also I think he needs to work with better people. I think people need to push him. He is so creative and there's so much he can do, and why aren't the professionals that he's working with who have been in this industry longer pushing him to his full potential? Like, why are you just saying this is okay? Because it's not. It's not. I
mean, but the thing is, it's very successful, and the dude's got 500,000 listens on every song already, if not more, on every song in Spotify. Like, obviously something's working. I don't think it works for us for many reasons. But
I unfortunately think
he's appealing to someone.
His views are coming from people trolling him, though. Like, I want his views and his listeners to be genuine and actual fans, not people who are trolling him and ripping him apart for content.
We're okay with him stepping into the sound of other people as opposed to taking that sound and making it his own. And that's what kind of holds me back on this one. There's a real commitment to the whimsy and the fun and the storytelling at times, and I really respect it, and it brings a really distinctive charm to a lot of the album. The problem I have is that it always feels like we're right there. We're almost there, and it just, everything, like, there are songs that I like, there are songs I'm gonna play, there are songs that I'm gonna really be excited to hear again, there are songs that if I heard them, I'm not gonna hate that I am listening to them. But it doesn't feel like we've quite got Benson Boone yet. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I feel like this is really him almost giving the people what he thinks that they want, or what he feels like he can emulate to give them what they want. Especially as he's trying to get away from his previous work. And I feel like a lot of that comes from that fear of being, like, pigeonholed into somebody that maybe you don't know if that's you yet. I do feel like there's a lot of the identity, like, crisis. A lot of this is so heavily reminiscent of other artists, which again isn't necessarily bad, but it doesn't feel like it's him portraying what he likes of their influence in his music in their own way. It seems like he's almost kind of doing an alternate cover of these artists at times. He's Freddie Mercury without the innovation that he brought. He's Bruce Springsteen without some of the tongue-in-cheek rhetoric. The list kind of just goes on when you look at some of the different musical influences, and it could be so good. He's pulling stuff like what you would hear with Harry Styles. He's pulling stuff like what you would hear with Chappell Rowan, with Sabrina Carpenter, with Olivia Rodrigo, like all these big pop girls right now. But it's just not his yet. And if he can find his way to adapt all these influences and the things that he's doing that are well and accentuate his own style and make it his own, I really think that he could be like the big pop guy. Like, it's been a while since I feel like we've had like a really big pop Prince. Like, Harry Styles almost kind of got there. I feel like Benson Boone could be that, but he's gotta find it himself. And part of that definitely comes from the fact that he's such a young artist. You know, there's nothing groundbreaking in here, but it is all good. I like it. For me, I gave it a 7.1. I like it. I see where he's going. I can see the vision. I just want him to push to get there. You know, there's so much that is so good, but nothing that's great. And that's what I want to see in our next album from him.
Yeah. Yeah, I am excited to see what he does next. I hope
he's definitely
he learns from
this.
And
I really hope he can learn from this and keep working to find this sound in the person he wants to be in this, because he could be so great.
I know. I love Harry Styles. I'd love to have another Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Harry Styles ran away from us. He worked himself into the grave and then disappeared. So we need someone to take his place.
Yep. Yeah, but we just need to figure out what his identity as an artist is first. And I get that that's going to be rough, but I think he can do it if his team really steps up and supports him here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for us today for On Beat Off Script. That was Benson Boone and with American Heart. So before we talk about what we're going to do next time, Mel, anything you've got going on that you want to tell the public about?
No. Guys, I'm trying to live a very boring life right now. I'm not agreeing to events. I'm not doing shit.
You know what? That's your right.
Yeah.
I'll keep putting out content here, and that's all you're getting.
Mel has led a very chaotic life. Not her fault. There's been a lot of things happening to Mel.
You know what I'm gonna do? Take a nap.
Oh,
y'all want to nap with me?
Hell yeah! Only if we can cuddle.
Nice
like,
duh.
How about you, Twitch star Appalachian Rose?
Just living it up, enjoying the last little bit of Pride Month that we've got left. We've got all sorts of nonsense coming up on the radar, but for now, we're just trying to chill while we can.
Awesome. Love that.
How about you, Bob?
Yeah.
Any big events?
Yeah, wait, grill him.
Huh?
As for myself, I'm also trying to get back to a little bit of normalcy in my life.
Nice.
I don't talk about this much in my podcast, but I'm also a Twitch streamer. I stream for charity. I stream to raise money for kids, kids that are sick and debilitated in children's hospitals. So I try to do that whenever I can, whenever I have spare time in between, work and being a good fiance and this podcast and all the other crazy things I'm into. So, you ever catch Incredibob __ on Twitch, please give me a follow. And
He's pretty cool.
That's all I've got going on. I'm
He's a good guy.
not too bad, I guess. Yeah. What did Benson Boone say? I'm a man that people love. I forget what he said already. I don't know.
He's a wanted man,
Yeah, that's it. Wanted man.
You
Thank
gave
you.
up on the joke.
That's basically what I said.
Fast. The commitment to the bit. Benson Boone would never do me like that.
True. Very true. Very true. But next time you catch On Beat Off Script, we're going to do a half-year recap episode. Since it's July 4th, there's going to be a lot of people on vacation, a lot of people doing their own thing. We're going to get together for maybe an hour or two and just talk about all the albums and all the singles we've kind of gone through this year. We want to pull out the ones that hit us most, the ones that really resonated with us, and we want to talk about those a little bit. Yeah. So look out for that. Look out for this episode and the other episodes we recorded today. Can't wait to see you guys' reactions to those. And as always, hit us up, give us some comments, subscribe, like, and all that good old fun stuff that you do to a podcast.
Hell yeah.
And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to our super important opinions on this music. And please,
should we?
Yeah.
Y'all should
Tangents
troll Dad because he's not here. Everyone be like, "Yo, it's so great not having Brandito around." Wow.
Yeah.
He's never gonna listen to this. He's not gonna hear. Okay, your secret is safe with us. Help us out. Okay.
Yeah.
Be like, I can't believe
Please.
Brandito liked Benson Boone so much. He wasn't here. Like, he'll really love that one. Like, hit us, please.
All right. So there you have it. That's On Beat Off Script. We are signing out. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and thank you for being here. We love you all.
Bye, guys.
3, 2, 1.